I think there's a real lack of emphasis out there on how limitations help you to develop potential and unlock creativity and hidden resources inside yourself. When I saw what was coming astrologically this year, I didn't know how to say it and I felt limited. So I got a hold of a puppet and I let the puppet Clyde say it for me. Then I realized that I wanted to create a world for him and I didn't really know how to do it. So I had to face those limitations. One of the things that I think misguides people about this whole manifestation movement is it keeps people wanting and wishing for something that is always outside of themselves. It's always in the future. It's always out there. They never stop and say to people, you may never get this thing. Why don't you look at what you have and see if you can use that to make something even better? Because they never really talk about the something better that could happen if you look at what you really got. I think that's the mark of a real spiritual path. It can turn you on to what you have, not keep telling you that what you need is out there, but turn you on to what you really have, and then boom, something amazing and miraculous starts to happen and comes out of it. Bob Fosse is one of the greatest choreographers that the world has ever known, and he truly inspired me when I was a kid because he took his limitations and he used them to create something that no one else was creating. He didn't have a ballet stance, he didn't have a ballet body or ballet training, he didn't turn out and he wasn't open, so he turned in. He turned his body in and he turned his legs in. He couldn't do what the ballet dancers would do, so he did the opposite, what he could do. He was losing his hair, so he started using hats. And then he started using hats in the choreography, and those things turned in. Hat became the signature of his whole style and became what made him famous and what then ballet dancers who were all turned out were trying to do to emulate him. When people come to me and they say they don't have time to learn divination, I say then you bring a deck of cards with you and you start throwing cards throughout the day whenever you have a chance. You stick whatever card you pulled in the visor of your car, you set it on your dresser, you put it in your briefcase. That becomes your style.
I'm Clyde, Monster Psychic Medium, and today's card is the Empress. If you appreciate what you have, you won't feel like you need so much.
That becomes the structure of what you do to learn. When people say, I don't have time to learn divination because I have so many problems, you have nothing but time because the problems become the way that you can learn divination. When people come to me and they say, I can't take a risk because I don't have a relationship and I don't have anyone to do this with me, well, then there's the treasure right there. The trick is to take the risk to find the thing inside of you that needs to become independent. That's the treasure, not gaining a relationship. The treasure is the need to become independent. That's the thing that will give you the gold. If we stop for a moment constantly focusing on what we don't have and we start to focus on what we do have, and that includes our problems, then we find the treasure, because those things are the key when we develop them to what it is that we're wishing for anyway. They're the bridge in between the two. So when people talk about I'm wishing for something way out there, or I'm trying to make that manifest, why won't it manifest? Well, because you're ignoring the treasure that you do have. The treasure that you do have is probably the key to something even better.